123. Genius, take the wheel. Obviously, safety, right? Who could be liking the stream this early? Who could it be?
You have 2 guesses.
All right.
2 guesses.
Good to see y'all. As usual. I mean, not really like usual. Instead of heading to work, I'm actually headed home from work because the leg day was just really difficult, and it took me a lot longer than I really wanted it to. But it was, it ended up being worth it in the end. So today's training autopsy actually kind of goes back to yesterday. This is my first week back doing, heavy leg work. And this is the first week back, so I really expected things to go badly on Tuesday, and it was easier than I anticipated. And I expected today to suck because I thought that the assignment was 4 sets of 7 at 225 on the hack. But then when I looked at my notes, I realized that I was wrong. The actual assignment was 4 sets of 7 at 275 on the hack, and I almost messed it up. And so, very unfortunate. I was like, wow, this is going to be so much worse than it was prescribed to be. And I really, started to really dread it. I got up this morning, hit the snooze button 3 times. I mean, what else is new? But I just really wasn't, like into, the work that needed to be done today. I just didn't feel like training today. And when I looked at my notes right as I was about to walk out the house, because I wasn't absolutely sure what I was supposed to be doing today, that's when it was like, oh man, this really sucks. Yeah, this leg day is gonna suck. So I actually get to the gym, and I start my warm-up, and some older guy goes to take the plates off the machine that I'm about to use. I'm like, dude, you see me setting this up, you want to take my plates? Go find plates somewhere else. I'm like, what the fuck? I start warming up, and I can feel my hamstring in a way that doesn't really feel normal. So I can't really be happy about it because it doesn't really feel normal. Obviously, in a hack squat, I really do want to feel my hamstrings, but not like that. So I'm kind of like feeling it out, and then the discomfort that I'm feeling moves from my hamstrings and slides over into my adductor. Like, I still don't understand why that happened, but it felt like the muscle was, in danger of, maybe being strained. And, that didn't really feel that great. So, I was kind of worried about, how it was going to go today. Maybe I would have to cut it short and, I guess let the irritation in my adductor go away. And then I just did the next warm-up set and then the next warm-up set. And it was just like kind of annoying, but it wasn't going to stop me from doing what I thought I needed to do. So I warmed up without plates on the machine, and it was pretty smooth. And then I went to 135, then I went straight to 225. I was like, fuck that. Going in the intermediate is just gonna add more reps. So I did 10 without plates, then I did 5 at 135, 5 at 225, and then I went and put the other plates on to get to 275. And man, that first set just went a lot better than I expected. I was not in the kind of pain that I'm used to being in on the hack squat. And that's why I really want to record a video on the importance of active rest and when you guys should use it, because I think that you will gain some value from, if you guys train as hard and as often as I do, you could be inhibiting your gains by working too hard for too long. So that extra week of active rest made it where I'm able to do the same level of work I was able to do before, but with a lot less pain. So I'm able to get through the working sets quicker. I'm not fatiguing as quickly. And I think that a lot of that is due in part to giving the muscles enough time to fully heal. I've been running my legs into the ground consistently for the last calendar year. Like really, really running my legs into the ground. And, I would have an active rest week here or there, but usually brought on by force because of injury or extreme pain and fatigue. And what I mean by fatigue, some of it's mental. Carbon is here. What up? Actually, I'm happy you're here, Carbon, because there's something I do want to mention now that you're here. Mrs. Evil and I, hi Mrs. Evil, we were kind of doing some car shopping. So probably want to stick around for some of that conversation. But I got through the 4 sets of 7 at 275, and a lot of it was just like just trying to be in the moment, feel the squeezes, feel the stretches, survive the sets that needed to be survived through, and attack the others that I just felt better about. But then I dropped the weight back to 225. And I went up to 10 reps from 7. And let's just say that my body really tried to just give up. Oh man, the fatigue build up from the heavier sets when I went to do the volume sets after that. Oh man, like after the first set, I basically just slid down to the floor because I couldn't stand up. And then, after that, I, gave it an extra few minutes so that I can actually get through the last set. And then it got better. So, what is Carmen saying? I only got 15 minutes before I go to work. Yeah, we're not going to be here too long today. So yeah, the two sets of 10 at 225 after the 4 sets of 7 at 275 in some ways felt worse than the sometimes it felt worse than the heavier weight, but that's because I had already racked up so much fatigue. Then I went and did 3 sets of 8 at 170 on the pro leg curl, and then the seated leg extension, 3 sets of 8 at 175. And so I definitely will be doing a commentary about the usefulness of the occasional extra rest week, but it's really just for people who train very, very hard. If you're a person that shows up to the gym twice a week to do bicep curls in the squat rack, I'm not talking to you. More along the lines of the title of the stream before I get into the whole car thing. There was a young lady, age 39, who passed away after getting a liver transplant that the speculation is that her body just rejected the organ and was like, nah, I'm done living. That's just very strange, and it's like super sad. And apparently, she's a very, popular child actress from like the late 1990s. And it just kind of sucks. It really sucks to see. So I hope our family, is able to recover from the trauma of, losing somebody that's very young. But then I looked up at the gym television today and saw that legendary actor Gene Hackman, not only, when I first saw, the news report, age 95, all right, full life lived, the whole bit. But Gene Hackman was found not alive next to his wife, who was also not alive, and they're 30 years apart. Authorities are saying that there's no evidence of foul play, but you mean to tell me that they just both upped and just ceased existing? Something's up with that. Strange stuff. That more details came out about the championship Indian powerlifter who had the worst coach on planet Earth, leading to her demise, trying to squat weight that was way too heavy for her. There's video footage that has been circulating around the internet that not only shows her last moments of life, but also the moment of her demise, where some of the reports I was hearing is the sound that her spine made. That's just something I don't need. I don't need that in my psyche. But I'm very upset in a lot of different ways, and part of it is that it definitely does set my profession back. You know, people have all different kinds of accidents at work, and we don't say that these particular professions are bad, but one unaliving in the gym, and you know, oh, there goes those fitness people again, or one violent interaction, you know, in the gym. Oh, see, those guys are all roided up and violent, when, you know, there's way more violence that happens, you know, just from road rage, from people who don't lift. So when you have these kind of deaths by negligence and incompetence, it really does harm the industry, and it really does create more fear of what we do, and also just people who engage in strength training in general, not just, you know, the coaches getting a bad rap. So it's been a very strange February, and it's just very strange, and it's, you know, not in a good way. Very quickly, for the sake of Carbon and for Mrs. Evil, because I want her to give some of her.
Oh yeah. I need to change before my appointment.
Yeah. We were looking at possibly getting rid of this Z4 and getting a new Z4, or going with a BMW 230i, the M240i, or just getting the M2. Now, real quick, I want you to give your opinion of what you thought of the M2 versus the M240i.
I don't see a difference. I didn't pay attention enough to both cars to really understand the difference between the two. Every time you pointed out that's the M2 and that's the M40i, I'm like, it's the same fucking car. So I don't have an opinion on the difference, because I don't understand the difference, or at least the differences weren't important enough for me to retain that information.
Right, and it really does boil down to that. You know, the thing is that you'll be paying a lot more money, especially if you're just going to drive the automatic. You're paying a lot more money for, yes, a bigger engine, but the 0 to 60 time is almost exactly the same. The looks are almost exactly the same, except that, in my opinion, the M240i is a better looking car when you look at the front fascia. The M240i is a better looking vehicle than the M2 when you look at the front of the vehicle. But the seating arrangements are the same. You get the same options inside and outside the car. They look almost identical. And so, you know, yeah, you get a little bit less horsepower, but the 0 to 60 time is like 0.3 seconds more, you know. So Carbon says he would take the M2. The M2 is probably the last of its kind, fast, nimble stick shift. I worked on an M2 with every option on it, carbon fiber, bucket seats, etc. Well, they got rid of the carbon fiber bucket seats. They got rid of that for 2025. But I knew you were going to say that, Carbon. I knew you were going to say all of that. But like I said, for people driving an automatic, it's really not going to make that big of a difference at all. And the M240i just looks better. It just looks better. So that's just kind of like my take on it. I'm very disappointed in the 2025 Z4 M40i. It has the same exact infotainment system as 3 years ago, when all the other BMWs have updated and modernized. So there's really, you know, you look at everything there's almost no change from the 2022 Z4 to the 2025. So I was really interested, except that they don't have the car color that I prefer on the new car. So unfortunately, it looks like I'm just gonna have to just stick with this car, try to finance it, stick with it for a while and see if something else comes out better. I am I just found out that the baby G-Wagon, the Mercedes-Benz, the smaller version of the G-Wagon, is official, and it is coming. We just don't know when it's coming. So a representative at my local dealership told me that he would give me the information that is necessary, because we're going to be we were looking at the Porsche Macan Electric, but if that baby G-Wagon comes earlier, we're going to be looking to try to slide over there. So just kind of wanted to give you an update, Carbon, on what we're looking at. We're pretty much only looking at Porsche, Mercedes-Benz, and BMW at this time.